That sounded like a screaming wolf.
Really? I heard like a pan crash.
Oh my God. I thought I heard like a
Well, we're both hearing shit because I heard a snake while I was taking a piss earlier.
oh my
Sounded like a
God.
snake in the wall, dude.
Tripping off the weed. Okay. I wanted to I wanted to talk briefly.
Yeah.
So we dropped acid this
Yeah.
past Friday,
Yeah.
and it was 250 microgram gel tabs, and I'd never fucked with gel tabs before. So like this is uncharted waters.
Why do you do gel? Why do they make it in gel?
I mean it's way smaller and it's
Mm.
supposed to dissolve faster. Cause like the
Okay.
actual like paper tabs, like yeah, you take it like I think it's sublingually, but like they won't fully dissolve,
Mm-hmm.
or they can if you're just like a sicko and you want to wait 25 minutes. But like that's not fun for anybody.
Oh,
So
so
like
so like people will swallow them early or something?
they normally you're not really supposed to swallow the paper
Oh, you
ones,
take it
at
out.
least the big ones.
Yeah.
So they just like suck it dry and
Mm.
then toss it.
Got it.
But like that's like the people who are like sickos. That's like Grateful Dead recreationists, like
Yeah.
trying to like bring it back. But I think the gel like is just smaller, whatever.
Yeah.
And it definitely like hit faster.
Okay.
But like I've never done like a 250 before. Like that was a big jump.
Mm.
Like last year when I got like the ego death
Yeah.
with that
Yeah.
that was like 150. Um,
Oh, fuck.
yeah.
But we
So
also did smoke at a weird time.
I
There were
know.
some triggers in there.
Yeah, but I mean, like the majority of the trip, it wasn't like, it wasn't visually like disturbing. It wasn't like any kind of, I don't know. It wasn't any kind of like thing I couldn't handle. But
Yeah.
then like eh, smoking right after the peak, obviously, that just like bang.
Yeah.
Suddenly we're in Toy Story. Everybody's like
That was
speaking to a brick wall.
crazy.
Yeah, I was freaking out.
Yeah, I know, dude. I felt so bad.
That was my fault though for not understanding that I just needed to lead into that. Because I got freaked out because I thought it was outside of the trip. You know what I mean?
Okay, you thought it was real.
I don't even know. Like I thought the trip was over because we were already coming down.
Mm.
And I was like, oh, the weed will just chill me out. Because like there's been times in the past where like I took acid before a party and then you just get consumption superpowers. Like
Yeah.
one of my friends from home, one of his parties over a summer, me and my friend Johnny took acid like half a tab at the beginning of the night. And then he just rolled up like five big ass blunts. And we were sitting out there like chain smoking them like they were our job. And we went,
No way.
yeah,
Johnny and the boys. That's
somebody,
awesome.
dude, somebody fucking came out and was like, so are we smoking? And we were like, oh my God, we went through all five. So it's just, yeah,
That's
sometimes I
crazy.
know, false sense of security though.
Yeah,
Because then doing it that time, I mean, I knew for these like past few times that it was like a bad call. So I've just
yeah,
been staying away from
that's
it.
good.
But I wanted to say like this past time really interesting revelations. So like it felt like a
Mm.
comfort high. Like I didn't feel like I was breaking through anything. I didn't feel like I was being punished for like sins of like my past or
Okay,
something. And
okay.
like I've definitely felt that way through previous trips.
Hmm.
But this was more like a comfort one where I felt like, you know, I felt like I was having like my head patted and like held and they were
Mm-hmm.
like, the spirit guides for like, oh, you're on the right path. You need a push,
Wow.
So one like thing that I kept seeing over and over again, and it was
Yeah.
repeated in like a ton of different ways. But its simplest form, two planets, right? So there's like it's space, I think, but there's no stars, so really it's just a void.
Mm.
And these two planets, one of them was blue, one of them was red.
Okay.
But it didn't feel like it had any meaning besides one was like, kind of cool, and one was kind of like hot.
Hmm.
Um, and just like it was weird because I could see they had so many differences in like traits. It felt like two Nates, where it was like I could see maybe like a previous more reckless version of myself in one, but then in the
Hmm.
other I could see where I thought I would want to get to.
Hmm.
Um, But like that happened at the beginning of the trip, and then everything as we went through it, kind of like echoed messages of it, but like expanded on it a little bit.
Mm.
Like, oh, here's why this part's bad, or here's why that part's bad. Like,
Okay.
dude, Red Planet hit, and like I had my shirt off. My Adidas joggers rolled above my knee like a douchebag. I'm just curling like 55s in our living room.
The
Like,
embodiment of Planet Red.
yeah,
Just the
yeah.
legitimate embodiment. Okay.
So
I'm
Red
saying
Planet.
it. Yeah,
Like,
that's so Red Planet, bro.
yeah. But
We
then,
should use that more. We're
yo,
gonna start prepping that in there.
awfully Red Planet of you, dog. Oh my God. But yeah,
That's
so
awesome.
like at another time, Blue Planet, I'm just sitting on the couch and like people are talking and I'm like, I understand everything that you're saying and I accept it and I accept you. And it's just like,
Whoa.
yeah, or like making too much way for other people. But that that was interesting because I feel like it brought me through like this gauntlet of sorts where it was like I'm having the Hercules tasks where it's these like different things. I'm like, oh, okay, this is the red planet here, this is the blue planet here, this is how these things affect me. But then I had to like get through it while also like trying to learn
Whoa.
something from it, right? But then at the end of all of that, I like had a sit down conversation with like the embodiment of my anxiety, it felt like. And this was weird, right?
Yeah,
Because
that is weird.
it looked kind of like me, like my frame, but a little
Okay.
bit longer. And it was totally black, like shadowy, and the edges weren't really definite. And just like the vibe I caught from it was weird. It was the most unsheltered thing that you could possibly imagine, right? Like, how sometimes you put up like a shell or whatever, and they're
Yeah.
like, oh, I'm going to project this certain kind of like, I don't know, like vibe or characteristic
Yeah.
personality. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, this was like so unsheltered and so open that it was frightening. And that might have just been the way I interpreted it. But I'm having this like talk with it where it's saying nothing, but it's just like these abstract movements and like slight pitch intonations where I'm like, oh, I know what you mean. Yeah.
Whoa. So like your anxiety, he like acted it out or
Mm,
something?
it wasn't even like that. It was just like the room would get visibly darker, or I'd focus on a certain thing in the room. And
Oh.
like I've noticed the weird thing about psychedelics is it never explains it in plain terms because
Yeah.
it's just no way to ever talk about it. Because, like, language, a totally human construct. We made that, you know? We just said that, what the fuck? Oh my God, it's water. Thought that was the biggest janitor ever. So scared on his red planet shit.
Just water, brother.
Oh, fuck. Okay.
That's shirt. The biggest chance.
I was worried.
I checked too.
Okay. All right.
Keep going, dude. I'm loving
Yeah.
this.
So like they never show it to you in definite terms, so you can't talk about it because like the language that we would use to describe it, whatever's making these things or that we're interacting when we're tripping, it's not human. It doesn't need. It can already communicate, but it's doing so like in a divine manner, I think. Um. So I had to sit down and talk with her where I'm like, okay, like, what do you, not like, get the fuck out of my life, get out of my body, stop like hurting me. It was just like, what do you need? Like, how am I hurting you? Like, is there something that's missing, And it was really just like, I know we beat this to death in the first episode, but it was just talking about the yin yang again.
Yeah.
That like half and half, which sounds so obvious, but being aware of both of those planets and the fact that all these personality traits on one side don't, go along with other ones. They're just exact opposites of
Yeah.
all the personality traits on the other side.
Right.
Like that I don't know. It was interesting.
That's wicked cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and when you were like, yeah, okay. So while this was happening, because I've never done acid, so like when you're like seeing it, like you said, a dark spot in the room, like your gaze, like your eyes were open or closed,
My eyes were totally open.
and you would like gaze over to like one part of the room that was like darker, and then like
Yeah,
it would like turn into the embodiment of your
no, like
anxiety.
I was sitting, you know how the kitchen table looks?
Yeah.
In RLC, there's this small little kitchen
Yeah.
table that can fit around 4 chairs.
Mm-hmm.
And 2 of the chairs face each other on either side. So I'm sitting in the outermost one, and the other one's kind of pulled out away from the table. And I'm looking around, and like just in front of me, like that kind of darkened thing starts to appear. And it was gradual. It was like the room just started to dim a little bit in that place. Very weird.
That's
Right?
very interesting.
So like what I mean by like the different kind of like intonations or darkness, that kind of stuff, the whole room would dim,
Okay.
you know?
And you'd be in like on one thing and then
It wouldn't even focus on any one thing.
yeah.
It was just like, you just got the sense that it meant something. You
Okay.
know, it
Yeah.
wasn't like, you know, he showed me a chair
Yeah.
and it's like, okay, figure out how that relates to your life. No, it's like you're being sent an instinct. You don't know why you're thinking this, you just are.
Okay.
Like, it
Yeah.
always, this is what gets me about psychedelics, man. They just
Yeah.
like, that weird form of communication, it makes you be like, oh my God, like I kind of want more. Like, how, if every time this information is so applicable in my life, how can it not be real? You know?
Right. Yeah. No, it has to be because yeah, well, that's so interesting. So like you're saying like you want it more, like you want to continue like the trip again so you can like
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely not something you can do like every
hmm
week. Like, biologically, you can do it every 2 weeks because that tolerance starts to break down after about 9 days,
Okay.
I think. Don't quote me on that,
Yeah.
but I know it's like in that range.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's, you do it like maybe like twice a year or something, you
Okay.
know, like
Yeah.
you get to the point where you learn the lessons from that trip, but it takes so fucking long to work through it because one, you have to figure it out, and then two, you need to actually apply those things in your life. And that's,
Right.
you know, that's the hardest thing. Like,
Yeah.
being able to actually say, okay, I'm going to make this change. Like, I know how I'm going to do it. I know how it's
Mm.
going to affect me in like a positive way, and I'm not going to implement it in that negative way. Or you could just go like, okay, I'm all in and do that.
hmm
But, you know, you'll figure out on your next trip that's not the way to do it. So like, it's
Interesting.
almost like you feel like, at least this is how I view it. I think you need to give yourself that 6 month window to
Yeah.
make sure that you're plateauing. But then once you've like, you know, ruined the proverbial harvest, like there's nothing else coming out of those fields, like 100% just go ahead and reset it.
hmm
Um, yeah, I feel like I'm ready for like a higher dose. Like, I
Right.
want to get to like 4.5 grams for like mushrooms. I just think like I
That'll
think that
do
would give
you.
me the lift off, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
That's crazy.
yeah.
I think I would be like I think I would be off my shit the first time I did it. Like I feel like I would just be like for me, I'm still like reasonably inexperienced with weed. Like I am and I'm not. Like obviously I'm not like a newbie, but like I don't smoke that often. I've never like done like a lot of my friends just like did the smoking phase like to
Right.
the fullest, like where they just like smoked a ton and like
Yeah.
I never really did that. You know what I
Dude,
mean?
that's like never healthy though.
No, it's not healthy, but like when you do that, like you understand, like you have like the most, like you have the best understanding of what it's like to be high when you smoke like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I
Yeah.
feel like I still don't even know all of the different ways I could be high from smoking weed.
I think the best thing is like, it's going to sound weird that I'm like a proponent of this, but I think it's really good to get high by yourself sometimes.
Yeah,
Like, I do not advocate drinking by yourself
yeah,
or whatever other kind of recreational drugs you're into. Probably don't do them by yourself.
yeah,
But like, weed's one of those things where like it really changes the way you think. So being able to be totally alone with that thought, like those thoughts, write them down, like
yes,
just create with
yeah.
it. That's kind of sick.
It's wicked cool.
Like, I knew like a musical instrument because I feel like that would be an amazing outlet when I'm in that kind of headspace.
Yeah, especially when if you're alone and like, yeah, when you're alone with your thoughts, when you're high, it's like it's just a different, you like you said, like it's a completely different perspective about
Yeah,
everything.
dude, it's so free.
It
Like,
is, it
as
is.
somebody who gets anxious in my normal life,
Yeah.
getting like weed paranoia make like sends that through the roof. And then I'm like, all right, I don't want to talk to anybody. Like,
Mm.
it's so much better to just be like totally by yourself when you're in that state, and then just be like, oh, I'm gonna do whatever I want. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
okay.
maybe I'm gonna go have like a 5 minute dance off with myself in the mirror. Or maybe I'm gonna ponder the intricacies of how Teletubbies has given me childhood trauma. You know, like, and it's shit that nobody else would engage you on because it's
Yeah.
dumb as fuck. But
Yeah,
like,
but you want to know about it.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. It's
and
like,
it's
let me
like
explore.
it lets you know about it without any complications.
Yeah, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Well, I mean, there will probably, if you're smoking with the right group of people, there probably wouldn't be complications,
Right.
but it's those perceived
Yeah,
complications,
it's the
like,
things that you think that are
yeah,
happening that aren't even happening.
exactly.
Yeah.
That that's the
Yeah,
worst. But
for
yeah,
sure.
like all psychedelics are different from weed though. Like
Right.
it's own thing, and
Mm-hmm.
it's not something you have a tolerance to. It's just something that like you learn to navigate out of. Really, it's just a test of like how deeply are you trapped within your own like brain forest.
That's crazy. I would love to try that. I just like I probably like soonish I will. Like
Yeah, I mean, just don't do it until you wholeheartedly want to.
yeah,
'Cause
that's my problem. Yeah.
yeah,
It's not that I don't want to, like I think like sometimes like because I've told you like a bunch, like I've had just like greened out on weed, and then
yeah,
like we talked about it last time, like that was like one of the like most anxiety like filled um like times of like I just felt so trapped when I took that edible, and just like it was just way too strong, and like it was so sick at the start of it, like it was like one of the best highs I've ever had, just from like it just like everything was so interesting. I was like
right.
feeling rocks, like, and I felt like I could feel like all the layers of the rock,
Oh,
and it was like very cold on the outside, but like
yeah.
it still felt like it was a part of the earth. You know what I mean? Like
Okay,
it
all
still
right.
felt like it belonged, even though it was like cold to the touch. It was like, oh, it's hard to explain. This is what I mean. Like that
Yeah,
made no sense because that's how high I was, and it was sick. And then like
but it still communicated to you. I'm so sorry. The water
I
fucking,
know
it's
it
fucking
fucks
me
me up.
up.
It fucks me up too. It's kind of spooks me sometimes.
Oh,
But no. So like that, just like, and then I just dove off the deep end. Like I think what really set me off, like my cotton mouth was so bad that I thought I couldn't breathe or swallow. It was that
oh,
bad. And like,
Jesus.
and so I
From
was
an
like,
edible?
dude, you should have seen this thing, bro. It literally looks like it should be in like the Pineapple Express, bro. Like this fucking edible, they made them homemade. They
Okay.
just took bud and crumpled it up and put it onto a cracker with peanut butter on it, put another cracker on top,
That's
wrapped it in tin foil, and put it in the oven.
what the
Yes, it was
fuck.
125 grams, which was,
Wait, what?
no,
125 grams?
125, yeah, wait, milligrams.
Oh,
My bad,
oh,
my bad.
okay. All right. I was like,
125 milligrams
wow.
per cookie, but that's like how much weed they used and divided it by the amount of cookies, but like they definitely could have fucked that up.
That's not like a solid calculation.
No, no, there's nothing solid about this fucking, like, about this edible at all. And so I was like pacing and like holding my chest and
Yeah.
like just not good. And then after that, dude, like I sometimes, like I was telling you, still like sometimes I'll smell weed and my heart will start like beating like an
Yeah.
anxious thing. But like I've had like the past 20 experiences have been like totally fine. You know what I mean? But
Right,
just like
right.
it kind of fucked me up to the point where like I still get anxiety over it, you know?
Weed trauma is a weird thing. Like, cause we
So
all
weird.
had that like one time where we like
Mm,
way overdid it.
mm.
But then it's like, cause if you're never Icarus, if you never fly too close to
Yeah.
the sun, you're gonna become a destructive stoner.
Yeah.
Just like,
Oh
it's
yeah.
11 a.m. Let me take a bong rip. Like, all
True.
right. Like that, yeah, that's nothing good for you. Like, dude, I think this was sophomore year, we made a gravity bong with like, I think it was,
This is awesome. I remember this.
yeah, it
It
was like
was 2 liters, right?
a Home Depot bucket and one of those Walmart trash cans.
Yes.
Fuck that. Nuts.
Yeah.
Absolutely stupid.
That's so cool though.
But like not good.
No.
So
No.
like I was not a heavy stoner at the time.
Yeah.
Like two of my friends were like inducting me into like trying weed. Like this was
Mm.
not like the first time, but like
Oh,
that was like
you're explaining your traumatic time.
yeah.
Oh, my fault, dude. I'm sitting here laughing, bro. I was like,
No, you can laugh at it. It's funny. It's funny. But it
I didn't
definitely like,
realize.
dude, young Nate was like,
Not ready.
yeah.
The
It's like,
definition of not ready.
I know, but the fucked up part was I'd already had a great experience the first two times.
Yeah.
So like it was like, I don't know anything about this. So
Yeah.
I'm just gonna rip it like I would a handheld bubbler, which
Mm-hmm.
has no capacity.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can pull it like an idiot and it'll still only do like half a bowl.
Yeah.
But this like my friend James like packed the whole bowl on top and
Oh,
goes, "All
God.
right, bro, get greens." And I went, But then,
Degrees.
yeah, I'm suckling on this thing, and I come out of it. I exhale, dude. Immediately, log behind me. I sit down, look around, know I've fucked up. The
Oh
trees start
no.
rubber banding back and
Oh
forth. You ever
no.
been in a video game and you're fucking lagging? You're going
Yes.
back and forth on the road?
Oh
That was me on this log. Just
Jesus.
crazy. So I'm just sitting there, absolutely NPC'd out.
Yeah.
Like something else has taken over my body. And like they're doing their thing and they're kind of vibing. And then at one point James comes up to me and he goes, "Hey man, I think we're gonna try and go back to like the pasture." And I'm like, "I don't know, I didn't do that." Just like mumbling.
What's the pasture like in his backyard?
No, it was like it was at a park near us.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. What's the name of it?
It's all good.
Yeah, dude, I watched Shout It
I
Out
won't
low
know.
key.
Oh,
Like,
word.
yeah,
The
hey,
spot.
to those in Burnt Hills, Indian Meadows, show it some love.
Word. Yo, comment below
Yeah, comment below if
if
you
you've
know
been
about
to
it.
the Indian Meadows.
Oh my God, there's these soccer fields that were like right next to the hiking paths.
Okay.
So we take like it's like a 5 minute walk back. It
Mm-hmm.
might have been a minute. It might have been 30 minutes. I don't know. To me, it felt like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So we go back. I like parked my like Prius, my silver Prius, in the middle of the soccer field. I hop in the bitch, turn her on, air conditioner. And I'm just
Nice.
sitting there, doors wide open. Like my trunk was up, and they were just like hanging out. They were like, "Play some music," and I was like, like
Oh man.
struggling to get something going. But
Damn.
like, yeah, I just remember hanging out there for like a few hours. This was already supposed to be a rushed project because my parents were like, "We're going out to dinner with family friends." I was like, "For sure, I'm just gonna go hang out with them real quick." So I had to have like, dude, we had to get like other people who were dead sober to like drive me home.
Yeah.
But I'm still tight. This this kid Marco, who like I used to be like close with like back in like the beginning of high school,
Yeah.
he drove me back, and I was like, "Dude, I really appreciate this." It's like whatever. Parked it like an asshole. Like
Oh
parked it
no.
in a manner where it looked like I had to have been like 6 tequila shots deep driving that.
Oh no.
So off. So my parents get home from dinner and they come into my room and they go, "So something's fucked up because this car is not straight. Are you high right now?" And I'm just rolling over
Shit.
like,
This came in that hard on you.
yeah,
Jesus,
it's
that is
tough.
brutal.
Yeah. But that was
Damn.
that. Dude, thank God that relationship has gotten better.
Mm.
Quarantine was beautiful. I know a lot of people have had hard times over
Yeah.
quarantine.
Yeah.
I get that. I respect that. But like, I really loved using quarantine as a tool to just get like closer with my parents. Like, I've never had like great relationship with them before.
Mm.
So having this opportunity, like that was kind of blessed. Like,
Yeah.
low key, sometimes I like miss quarantine, like because of that. Like my
Right.
family just got so much tighter.
I feel that, dude. We spent like a lot of, there was still like some shit, but like I think everyone's family had some shit, but like for the most part, it's just like spending time doing shit that we used to do as a family a lot. Like, and this is something too, like last night I was, after we smoked, I was just in bed, like still pretty high. So like if I'm pretty high, like I won't fall asleep right away. I just like
Hmm.
go through like whatever's in my head. And, I was thinking like about my dad for some reason. And, I was like feeling really guilty. And I was like, whoa. Like, I was like, all right, like, I don't like this, but I'm gonna like dive into this. So like
Yeah.
when my eyes are closed, I don't know if you get this, like if I'm super high and my eyes are closed, like, and I'm falling asleep, like, I can see shit. Like, I have like a whole like production going on.
What?
Like, it's cinematic, bro.
I'm so jealous of that. Are you
I,
serious?
I'm super
Like
serious.
you get closed eye visuals?
Yeah.
That's wild.
Well, here's the thing.
High superpower.
I've been a little bit bummed because it hasn't happened like the last few times
Okay.
because I think I haven't been high enough. But it
Oh.
was happening last night, which was cool. But like the times that I've been the most high, it's been the most vivid and like disturbing. Like if I'm too high, it's like scares me.
Oh. Do you mean like do you ever get these like kind of like archaic art looking like visuals where it seems
Yes.
like it's something
Sh-
crazy.
Shapes and colors and yeah.
Yeah, like you're thinking about sex and suddenly there's like this 100 tittied flying monster with like
Oh,
tentacles. You're seeing just
okay.
masses of flesh. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, it's like that for me, but like
Obviously in a different category, but
yeah,
like is in
yeah.
that degree of like,
Yes, it's like that.
yeah,
It's so vivid.
I get that after when I'm coming down from tripping, but
Okay.
that's it. I
Mm.
don't get it from weed.
It's weird that I get it. I've tried
Huh.
to tell people before, and they've been just like, no, you were just murked.
Your
Like they
blessed
just
body
kind of like
chemistry.
brush it off a little. It's fun, but anyways, I was like, let me like go into this. So I'm like picturing myself like, okay, yeah, this is. I'm glad we're talking about this because I didn't even like really think back about it.
Okay.
I'm in this dream and I'm like seeing like my dad.
Yeah.
Like it's not. It's like almost a dream, right? So I'm
Hmm.
like seeing my dad, and like just like I just was with my friends so much in high school that like I didn't spend a ton of time with my family, like my
Yeah.
like mom and dad and brother. More so with my brother, like luckily, but my mom and dad, like I was gone a lot, like at other houses and that.
Right.
So like I was just feeling guilty about that. And then I was like in my dream, like looking down and like falling into all of my memories with my dad.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, so this is definitely like to the point where I'm not just like seeing it awake with my eyes closed. I'm definitely like dreaming now. You know
Hmm.
what I mean?
Yeah.
I think I like slip into that. It's like almost like lucid. I don't know if that makes
Wow.
sense. Like it's not like I'm having like a
Yeah.
real lucid dream, but
But
it's
you're
like
still actively perceiving it.
yeah,
Like,
it's
so yeah, you don't have control, but you're totally, it's like,
it's not like I'm sleeping through. It's like I'm
right.
awake through a dream
That's
instead of sleeping through
interesting.
a dream. And so like I'm falling through the memories of my dad, like good and bad, like
Uh,
through my childhood. And like being like, man, like just really like regretting not spending more time with him.
yeah.
And like, I don't know, and my mom too. But I think it was my dad, like, I don't know what it was, but it was like, I didn't want to stop because I was like being really honest with myself.
Like
And
you wanted to go deeper with
I
it.
wanted to just like, I was uncomfortable like in
Mm.
reviewing,
Yeah.
but I also like some parts of it were really beautiful, like time that I spent with him, like when I was younger and like like a lot of times in my life when he's just been like, amazing.
Yeah.
And so like that was dope. And like at the same time too, I didn't want to like shy away from it. So I was like experiencing it like and just letting it happen. And it was just like it was hard to do, but like I thought about it in the morning and like my heart sunk a little bit. You know what I mean? Like you
Yeah.
get reminded of like something when you first wake up and you're like, damn, that's still a thing. Like so it wasn't like
Yeah.
at all bad, but it was like a very interesting look into like
Have you tried like dealing with that at all yet? Like,
yeah,
right.
like a little bit. Like I spent a lot of time with him and my mom this break, which is good. But
Uh,
like, yeah, I feel like I don't know what it is. Like I always have things like pulling my attention in a million directions. Like that's how
yeah.
I've always been. So like while I'm at home, like my friends are always hanging out. Like Carolyn always wants to hang out,
Right.
and like so it just like I don't know. I just was like always gone. I feel like
Yeah.
more
But
so now looking back than I thought. But
I mean, like you can't blame yourself too much for that
yeah,
because like obviously like parents get it too. Like,
right, yeah.
but I mean, I can empathize with you. Like, for a while, every time I was getting high, I was just thinking about like, fuck, man. Like, I don't have a good relationship with my dad. I've always
Mhm.
been close with my mom just because she's a super empathetic person.
Yeah.
So just like very, very aware of like, okay, how am I coming off, all that. And like,
That's cool.
yeah, my dad, the problem is my dad's like me in a lot of ways, just like not at all aware of like how they're coming off. And also like, you know, oh, this is an interesting conversation, so I'm just not going to engage. Yeah.
Really?
Well, yeah, like sometimes.
Yeah.
So like over this past summer, I was like fucking obsessed with it. Me and my sister were like, we were talking like, what's going on? Um, and we just like had like a lot of frank talks with him and like spent more time and actively engaged him about shit that like we tried to get him interested in. And it's like, it's a lot better now.
Mm.
But like, dude, I mean,
Takes work, bro.
yeah. And I get why, like with parents, it's so hard to not have that really emotional reaction or
Yeah.
guilt, especially at this age, because it's like, oh, okay, like how old is your younger brother, Alden? He's like what?
He's 18, or yeah, he's
So
18.
he's a senior.
Yeah. Well, no, so he's in college, freshman year of
This is his
college.
first year. Okay.
Yeah, he'll be 19 in March.
Okay. So my younger sister, she is in her freshman year of
Yeah.
college. Like,
Wait, how old is she?
I think she's 18. Yeah.
Maybe Alden's 19, and
Is
he's
he
gonna
old for?
turn 20 in March. All right, I just might have fucked up Alden's birthday, and the only reason I'm trying to like make sure I get this out is because like I think he might be mad that I fucked up his birthday, but like he's
Yeah, Alden's
probably
like
listening to
15 or
this.
some shit. Like,
But like, anyways, keep going.
okay. So, I was like, at this age, we feel guilty because everybody's left the house now. You know, what are
Yeah,
our parents going to do now? Are they going to remember us well?
yeah,
Are we going to have a good, enduring relationship? Because
right.
just as much as our parents are scared of holding on to us, I think all of us subconsciously, if we're well adjusted, we're a little scared of losing them too. And
Mm.
not just like, oh, are they not going to fuck with me anymore? Like, of course they'll fuck with you, but like, are you worried about like, you know, oh, maybe they're going to become something I don't want them to be. Maybe they're going to lose all their hobbies. Maybe they're just going to become old people.
Mm.
Like, I def feel like that's a phobia for a lot of people. I mean, that was a phobia for me. Like,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
so that reparation period that's spurring on right
Yeah, it's
now, I think it's
weird.
necessary.
Yeah,
But
it's good. It's definitely good. Yeah,
yeah,
dude. Now we're officially, Nate and I just had the same thought. We're officially 30 minutes into this and we still haven't introduced it, but yo, this is the motherfucking second episode, Blissfully Unaware, and you know, we're in the studio.
we're in the studio, the new studio.
Yeah, we got
After episode 1.
after episode 1 we've decided to turn the fan off that was you were listening to for the entire first episode.
Upgrade
And
the audio quality.
we're hoping that this comes to you live and direct and very smooth because we got AirPod drip going right now.
Yo,
And
Apple, sponsor us,
yo,
please.
shout out, don't me Apple for not sponsoring. But yeah, so we're hoping that this is gonna be a lot easier to listen to. But if you hear any water, we're in the basement of a bunch of dorms, and the plumbing's above us, so if you hear any splashes, that's what it is.
We went deep for this too.
Yeah,
Out of the way.
yeah, this is a cool spot. Like,
Beautiful spot though. Shout out to Troy.
yeah,
Like you pioneered this.
hmm
You guys Lewis and Clarked it. Fantastic.
unbelievable. Yeah, a lot of people probably on this whole campus. There's probably like, what do you think? 15 people that know where this is, maybe less.
I wonder that little classroom over there. Do they ever do like football stuff?
I think this is. I don't know exactly what they do, but it definitely used to be a classroom,
All
like
right,
back
yeah.
before COVID times.
Bottom line, we got you know,
We got the spot.
we got a beautiful place here.
Yeah.
Nice little couches, a little table.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we got a beautiful place. Just settle down on the east side of the campus.
Mi casa es su casa.
The rent is cheap, and you get a good street view. And so.
Can I be rude? Do we have more of the stuff? Was that the first 2 bottles?
Yeah, we're halfway.
Oh boy.
But we can get I know, but we can get more or something. We'll figure it out.
No, I think I'm gonna be set off of this. I just kind of want to restock.
Keep her going, bro. Yeah, wait, here, send it. This pocket.
I was about to do a whip it off the sunscreen.
Whip it up.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so we're
Sorry
cracking
guys, we got a brief pause.
couple
here,
of beers here, so you're gonna get all this like just nice and unedited, just rough, dull silence, and that's just the way it's gonna be for this podcast.
Oh my gosh. Sorry guys, but this is important to the viewing experience. Look at that. Fill right to the top.
Oh, it's
The phone
beautiful.
loves me. It loves me
The
today.
foam is beautiful. Here, wait. Oh, never mind, we're good.
Did I take the wrong one?
Nope, you're good. That one's good.
Is this the same one that I just tried, or?
No, I don't think so. I think it's this one, right? Does it look like this bottle?
It def tastes different. I don't even remember.
Okay, good.
Folks, we got a smoother one on the second one.
Okay, we're
Not as
looking at.
aggressive, still a beautiful taste though. I would
Okay.
describe it as a grassy orange sunset.
Okay. Okay. And would you pick up any hints of citrus in there or no?
You
Fuck
like the
that.
little
All right, that part just
fuck
got
that.
away from us, bro.
Oh my god. Yeah, I'm getting that was the taste test. That's how I do the taste
Yeah.
test. You're not doing it quick enough. It's gotta just be
It's like a.
da 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 da. Yeah. Exactly.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Holy fuck. All right.
Yeah.
So I was thinking about this earlier.
Yeah.
I've been Googling this a lot. I've been doing my like first person research.
Hmm.
That spirit guide I was talking about earlier,
Oh, okay.
like the shadow beings, the shadow walkers, whatever the fuck you want to call them.
Okay.
So there is this idea. I don't know. I mean, if you believe in the concept of the soul, right? Then we're all going somewhere after this body, runs out of fuel. Once it's just no longer working anymore.
Sure.
And you could say that's heaven. You could say that's like hell. You could say whatever, wherever you want to call it. But I think what's common in all religions is the idea that the spirit continues after life, and they're all kind of just hanging out somewhere. So I think it's the spiritual web, right? All these souls are intertwined. Maybe they go down for a second run, third run, whatever. Maybe there's a little reincarnation action going. But I think that all of these spirits being held together create like, a cosmic force.
Mm-hmm.
And that could be like fate, karma, will, whatever. But there has to be something that's keeping this all in check. So those same kind of beings that talk to you when you're like tripping or having like a lucid dreaming experience or a near death experience, anything that's releasing a crazy amount of endogenous chemicals or hormones, that's going to get you to these people. So people when they're taking DMT talk about this, like shadow beings or like machine elves, that kind of shit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Machine elves. That's pretty scary, bro.
It does sound wild.
Yeah.
I would love to get to that level someday where I'm comfortable enough to just take DMT and be like, all right, let me see behind the curtain.
That dad sturdiness.
Yeah, exactly. Hit me when I'm 35.
Mm.
Like,
just sturdy.
Yeah.
In
you have
all
to be in a
meanings
stable
of the word.
place.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
But like that avatar of anxiety I was talking about appeared as this like black shadowy thing. And I was doing like some reading and research and such. Quote unquote research.
Yeah,
Wikipedia.
I think it's
and
research,
YouTube
bro.
videos. All right.
Let's not downplay the power of Wikipedia,
You're right.
bro. One
You're
of our
right.
future sponsors. Because all of our podcasts will be so fucking factually correct that they're gonna be like,
I know.
this is good for our brand.
We actually got the early edition of Elon Musk's Neuralink, so we've just been referencing Wikipedia articles on us, so you don't got to fact check us or anything.
Yeah, no worries.
So it was saying that a lot of these like spirit guides or shadow things are supposed to be some kind of like soul guide. Like, what's the word for somebody that corrals sheep?
A shepherd.
Yeah, spirit shepherd.
Okay.
Which I think is fucking cool.
That's wicked cool.
Yeah.
No, I'm fucking with that term a lot. That's dope.
But like, dude, if we have this web of spirits,
Yeah.
how many do you think are up there?
Oh, well, would there be one for every soul that's passed? Probably.
Maybe.
I mean,
are there more people alive than there are souls up there?
No.
Right.
No
so
way.
Wouldn't it make sense, even if there's still a ton of souls up in the soul web, it's likely that what these things are that are reaching out to us in these near-death experiences and psychedelic experiences, especially in the psychedelic ones, because they're so uniform every time.
Yeah.
They have the same way of interacting. And once you interact with it once, you start to understand how it's interacting with you through less intense imagery or less intense representation. That shit I was saying about like hearing things abstractly but understanding the meaning of it. Like, you can get that same thing through other events. Like maybe you look out the window and you see some odd distortion and it means something weird to you, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I think, and this Wikipedia article was saying, like, along with like some other videos I watched on like YouTube, just went deep into that rabbit hole.
Yeah.
It's like these spirit guides are paired up with you. They want you to succeed. right?
Mm.
And they're gonna keep appearing to you, but you can't be too in reality, you know? Like,
Mm.
think about this, right?
You gotta like step into the dark side a little bit.
I don't even think, what do you mean by dark side? Like,
Not in a negative way. Just like the side that's not in the light.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Walk away from what's obvious or easy. Like,
Mm.
because like an animal, they're all ego. They're
Yeah.
all that constructed, in reality kind of thing. Um, and they're not capable of this kind of thought. But like humans, like we develop whatever you want to call it. If you want to be Freudian, you can call it your like super ego
Oh
or
yeah.
whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
like I think that's kind of bullshit. I
Yeah.
choose to think of it as like that's your soul, right? We have that,
Mm.
so that's what sets us apart. Because like we don't really know what consciousness is, but as far as we know, we're one of the only like conscious animals on this planet,
Right.
and we're all
Yeah.
very, very different. Like dogs only act about like what 16 different ways.
Yeah.
Like if you were adopting
Interesting.
humans from a shelter, it wouldn't have a personality section where it
Mm.
goes jumpy or skittish or cuddly. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it couldn't just be one word to sum up that whole thing.
Right. Right. But
So
an animal maybe it could.
right,
Which it would like suggest a lower level of consciousness.
yeah.
Okay.
So
I'm
maybe it's like a
following.
more diminished soul or
Yeah.
whatever. Um, but like I think if we do something that abstracts us even further from reality, like a psychedelic or having a near-death experience or like meditation, holotropic breathing, like
Mm.
even getting a runner's high, all that,
Yeah.
like it distances us so we can kind of see into that other side just a little bit because by no means are they barred to reality
Right.
like the spirit guides. But when it I was reading basically like when they're normally dark figures,
Mm.
all shadow, long, tall, or they appear as something that's meaningful to the person, but obviously wrong. Like you would
Mm.
understand that how they're appearing is like it's easy to digest, but you never see that, so you understand that it's alien or foreign.
Okay.
Um, like it was saying, these are mostly meant to help you to eventually either become totally aware or just the best version of yourself, like reach nirvana, you know?
Mm.
Which I know that sounds like a bunch of like hippy dippy crap, but like I honestly believe that. Like I think that they appear in more ways than you might think, and it fits in perfectly with the idea of, angels that
Yep.
will help you like reach
I thought of that
salvation.
too when you said that. Yeah.
Yeah, or
Something.
even like demons, ones that will show you harsh images if maybe you're like a bad person. And that fits in perfectly with the Christian model
Mm.
where you commit sins and you're what society may deem a bad person, and which develops a negative self view, whether you admit it or not. Once you see that kind of like guide, it's gonna represent in vicious, aggressive, evil, scary ways because it's
Mm.
trying to tell you,
To snap out of it. Yeah.
yeah,
It's like showing you like it's basically just a mirror
yeah,
of like your worst qualities,
yeah, but it like
right?
exaggerates it too. Like,
Yeah,
yeah,
even in a way that's like unfair to, yeah. Yeah, that's really interesting. So you think like you researched this and then you were using it to like try to help understand what you were seeing
yeah,
when you were high? Yeah,
yeah,
when you
because
did
just
acid.
like I wanted to make sure, like, because I'd heard about it before. Like my
Mm-hmm.
sister, when she was younger, she had a vivid dream about this.
Really?
Yeah, she had one pick her up. She was on our
Whoa, stop
elementary
it.
school playground. She said it picked me up, and I just closed my eyes and chose not to look at it, and then it set me down and left. And I was like, you gotta, you gotta find that guy again or that thing.
Whoa.
They're probably like agender, but like,
That's insane.
isn't it? And the idea that almost everybody who takes these kinds of like substances or just does stuff that like makes you trip, like they see the same kinds of things.
Hmm. Right. How could they? Yeah. But it's
Like,
in
what's
their
up with
brain. So it's like, yeah,
yeah,
it makes you think that there's a lot more, like, that we're a lot more synchronized and like connected
yeah,
than it would seem from the from the surface. Yeah. That's
It's
really cool. I
it's
used to have these dreams when
mind-blowingly
I was
weird.
little. Like, do you have like a list of dreams in your head that like you always used to have when you were a kid?
I don't even know. I feel like I don't dream like a ton.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
That's
but
good. That means you sleep well.
really?
Yeah, forgive me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that I was reading something a while ago that says like the you really only remember the dreams that you wake up from.
Okay.
So from that notion, like when you're asleep, you're not waking up after your dream. You know what I mean? That like from
Yeah,
just from that not like knowledge of you have to be awake right after to remember it, like that means you're probably not waking up every time you have a dream, which means you probably like
that's
sleep well, you
interesting.
know what I mean?
Yeah, that kind of makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, the way that like dreams happen, right? It's just like random neuron firings that are just like those synapse paths are like
Mm-hmm.
the most used.
Right.
So you just kind of go like, oh, okay, my body's just, it's still working, so some electricity is still going to go up there. But like
Right.
this area, I just always lean into this. So then
Mm-hmm.
you get that sensory input. And I guess it makes sense that you would interpret it as dreams if your waking mind is up, because your waking mind is going to stack up every kind of
Mm.
um, like scheme it's made beforehand, where it's like, I'm getting this sensory input. I know that's a couch. Getting this
Mm.
sensory input, I know it's a table, dog, like dog, whatever.
Right.
Um, so it's probably only because that waking mind is up that it's saying, "Oh, I'm on a bus and there's people around me, but I can't see faces." Like,
Mm. So you're meaning to say like a dream isn't really a dream unless you're awake to realize that it is.
yeah,
So
yeah.
like when you're dreaming, it doesn't really count because it probably actually has like no conscious like structure.
So that's the interesting thing. Like, uh, Freud proposed an idea that there is some kind of conflict in dreams where it's normally sexual or aggressive. And that's the backbone of dreams. And you can analyze these dreams to determine if this person has some kind of antisocial like disorder or, if something's just really weighing on their mind, which it kind of works, but it's like he used the wrong formula to get the right answer. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Because what it really is let's say you're worrying about one specific thing all day and you have one synapse, like one neuronal path that's dedicated to that, right? And
Yeah.
that's firing all day long.
Yeah.
When you're sleeping, you're just getting random neuron firings. But like if you think about your brain as a snowy hill, and thoughts or synapse firings are just sleds going down this hill. Let's say there's no snow falling, but the snow never melts. Those tracks that the sleds go down get deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. And then if you just send like water down the top, it's
Mm.
probably going to go down like some of the deepest tracks. It's just probability.
Right.
So Freud kind of had it right in that if you do analyze dreams, you will get to the center of what somebody's thinking about all the time,
Mm.
but it's not always necessarily it's bothering them the most. It's not always necessarily something to even have a problem with. If somebody's obsessed with football, they're probably going to dream of football or something around it,
Yeah.
just because all of those things are firing all the time. If you're eating, sleeping, breathing something, you're going to dream about it.
You're right.
That's why people start to dream in different languages. Um, and they say, oh, this means I really know the language. And yeah, but it's not because you're dreaming about it. It's because you've toned and regulated these
Ooh,
neuronal
that's really
paths
interesting.
so much.
So hard for so long to
Yeah,
figure that out.
exactly. Dude,
Interesting.
your brain and nervous system, it's like lifting. It's like if you work one muscle out more, it's going to get stronger, more efficient, easier to
Yeah.
access. Like,
Which could be good or bad.
right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. But like unlike lifting, there can be like good and bad results.
Mm,
You know what I mean? Like
that's true. That's true.
if you just strengthen yourself while you're lifting for the most part, it's like it's good.
Yeah.
But like this is like which is interesting too because it probably like a lot of that I don't know that much about the science that you were just talking about, but like a lot of that my mind immediately went to like mental health and like the neurons that you fire when you're anxious or stressed or depressed or whatever, and then
Yeah.
getting stuck in like
A
stuck in
vicious cycle.
a cycle like that in a rut, so to speak,
Yeah.
a neurological rut.
It's fucked up, man. A
Yeah.
neurological. I like the idea of a neurological rut. Like,
I
but
mean,
that's
because there's like the legitimate rut
yeah,
and like yeah,
the synaptic cleft.
right.
Like
The rut and the cleft, bro.
that's that's interesting because then it's like, how the fuck do you solve that? You know, like, is it the medicine approach? Like personally, I think the medicine approach for like any kind of
Yeah.
like psychological treatment is bad. And I know that's controversial to say.
Yeah.
I know I shouldn't say that. I don't have a degree in anything. Don't listen to what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
but
This
bro,
is a personal
this
opinion.
is my personal fucking opinion. The people that have degrees half the time they don't know what they're talking about either.
Maybe,
It's kind of
maybe.
bullshit.
That definitely happens in like some respects.
Yeah.
Nowadays, you can just Quizlet your way through college.
But
Easy.
at least you're the one who said like I know like this probably could be wrong. Like a lot of people just won't do that. So just
Yeah, that's true.
you're like safe after you say that.
All right.
Continue, my bad.
Yeah, no. I just mean like, uh, you know, if you're taking these like medications, I've only seen them dull people, then they don't have the agency anymore
Right.
to actually go ahead and fix what's going on with them. And it's really hard to go down that road. But, you know, I think if you don't medicate people, it's not going to zombify them. And then they're going to be goaded to try and say, oh, well, I want to fix this. I don't want to live like
Yes.
this. It's
Yes.
very easy to be numb, right?
Mm.
Like, but just being in pain all the time, that'll make anybody do crazy shit. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I don't want to have a hard on mindset here, but like I think like working on yourself, like that's the same thing as like working on your physical health. Um,
Mm.
so like they should be taking advantage of therapy. Like that could be huge for them.
Mm.
They should be doing things like journaling out like different kinds of problems, triggers they realize, shit that's just like constant stream of
Right.
thought on their mind. Doing like eating healthy, like working out, all that. Like, but
Dude,
medicine really fucks you up and makes it hard to do any of that.
it feels like Western medicine is like it took a big step from like helping yourself to like let like the shortcut. Feels like
Yeah,
Western medicine's like the shortcut, bro.
yeah,
Like when you take some drug to help you get better, like you're gonna get to that end result faster, but like there's gonna be so many more like problems than there are like solutions. I feel like from that.
that's true. Cause it's. Do you feel like it's like Do you feel like it's like a blunt attack?
Yeah. Well, not yes. So like on a very micro level, like yeah, it's like it's fast and like sloppy in a
Right.
way. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, let's just get in the bloodstream and introduce a new chemical, and we're not going to worry about how this is going to affect the environment
Yeah.
within the bloodstream.
Yeah.
There's going to be some side effects, but it's fine. Rather than getting, maybe through like a natural way.
But that's how you can characterize like technology and progress. It's just like
Oh,
rash and like it just out of control. You know what I mean? Like in a way that's like it just faster and more um unpredictable. Whereas like when you take something like you take the idea of like Carolyn and I watched this documentary about it's called Heal. I think I sent it to you.
heal.
Yeah, a
Oh,
while
yeah,
ago. I
yeah,
don't know if you got around to it, but I can just give you like the rundown. Basically, it's just like it talks about like Eastern medicine and like how it's like helped us like cure these certain like anomaly cases
uh,
around the world and it like goes into them and it's so fascinating and it really opened my eyes up to like just like how much of a shortcut it is to just like give somebody like the pharmacies can just like prescribe a drug or whatever. Like I was in because of this like documentary, dude. I was in the CVS the other day, yesterday, and I was just like doubting everything they were selling.
really?
I was like, okay, I know like I'm trying to get into vitamins. I think those are good, but then I'd like get to another aisle full of like this helps you with like your sinuses and this helps you with your what ears, nose, eyes, like all this stuff,
Yeah,
and it's
what's
just like
real?
it's like what is all this
Yeah,
bullshit? Because we never needed this
yeah,
for the majority of our time as humans, we never needed anything in this store.
Well,
We also didn't live as long, we weren't as healthy and whatever, but like,
I mean, I think, sorry, I'm cutting you off. What
no,
were you gonna,
no, that was it.
okay, all
Like
right, all right.
that's just my point broadly. It's just like it's a jab, like a shortcut.
Yeah, I mean, that's why, like, I've seen Eastern medicine work for a lot of people.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's the way, like, Dev has some kind of mix of the
Yeah,
two,
right.
but,
Me too. I agree with that.
like, dude, that shit you said, like, made me think, like, why do we need all this stuff now? We're not evolving.
Yeah.
Like, we don't have natural selection at all. What's happening right now and what has been happening ever since we started creating an actual society in which people are protected, um, it's no longer about whoever has the most favorable traits will reproduce the most, because monogamy is super, like, that's a center point of our culture,
Mm.
right? So what that does is it's totally restricting dominant, like, genomes. So,
Yeah.
like, if we still had natural selection, JJ Watt would be fucking everybody's wife.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, bro.
whoever's the most,
100%.
whoever's the most crazily, like, adapted, they would be, like, spreading that seed. So we're no longer selecting for specific traits
Hmm.
because, yeah, I mean, the argument can be made, okay, there's a new type of natural selection going on right now, and it's capitalist in nature, where if you're poor, you're not going to have the means to have, like, kids. You're not going to, um, be able to offer them, like, good health care. Maybe they would die early, whatever. And I mean, that's a property of something else, but, like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, people will make that argument, and it's like, well, no, because even then, there are still a ton of really poor people. Like, most of the world's children come from the poorest population.
Yeah, right.
And I mean, that's offset because, like, some developing countries, they still obviously are having, like, 6 to 8 kids because infant mortality rates are god awful because they
Mm.
don't have, like, good hospitals and stuff. But, like,
And that's where you gotta put like hands down Western medicine. Like it helps us to live longer and
yeah,
be like like we have everything we need to like get by at a much like safer and more efficient rate than we used to.
100%.
And
But
there's no like I didn't say anything like I didn't say anything good about Western medicine in my last like rant, and I was thinking like, okay, let me just throw this in because like it is obviously clearly like
yeah,
amazing, but just like it's some things like you're saying like we're not like continuing to like increase, and that's why I was saying like last time like we could be like devolving a little bit.
exactly.
Like we could be getting to the point where it's like one of the two of the podcasts that Joe Rogan had this summer were the most like fascinating thing to me, that he had two people who, oh, what was his name? David, the Korean guy, David Cho.
Oh, yeah.
He was on.
That shit was
That
nuts.
shit was crazy. And then there was this other guy, I don't remember his name, but both of them had visited like some of the only like nomadic primal groups left on
Uh-huh.
the planet. And oh, this is gonna wrap into our book. This is perfect. Okay. Okay. Um, so they were just fascinating to hear them talk because they went and like fully immersed themselves in the culture of, so like the guy who I was talking about, the other guy, not David Cho,
Mm,
went up to Siberia and lived with a bunch of nomads
fuck.
for like a couple of years. And then he like came back and had a wife and kids and then brought them to live with the nomads for like
What?
a couple of years. Like,
Because it
and
was just a better.
dude, he said it was the most
Yeah.
beautiful way of life. And so that was the biggest takeaway from that guys was like he would go up there and just like the people in the cities and towns that weren't fully living off the land
Yeah.
in the land, they were miserable, and the depression rate and suicide and like alcoholism was terrible, off the charts. Everyone. but then like the people who lived in the woods,
They were bulls.
they were the happiest people he's ever met. And like all he did all day was like, like practice with his bow or go like hunting.
Right.
He was like, he would wake up and he said, I could hunt, I could gather, or I could train. Every day. That's all you can do. All you do is survive.
Beautiful simplicity, though.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, okay, that goes back to this evolution thing.
Right.
We took ourselves out of evolution.
Yeah.
So it's like, did we take ourselves out too early before
Right.
we were ready to be able to deal with the effects of like a modern world, a super advanced technological world? Like,
No,
and since
we're definitely not ready for it.
Yeah, biologically, we're not designed for that.
Yeah.
Like, biologically, we're supposed to just be out there tripping our balls off, shooting sticks at deers, and like picking berries.
And just to like tie the 2 points together, like for anyone who like is having a hard time follow, because I'm just like not tying everything together perfectly. Like I've thought of the nomads because of our talk about evolution and how like those people are like perfectly evolved. Like the weak people don't survive in those civilizations,
Right.
and those are the only ones left on the earth. So David Cho went and lived in with the pygmies, I believe.
Yeah, the super short people in the Congo.
In the Congo, and then he realized his big thing was just like they were all like they would all be supermodels in our country.
Yeah,
like
they looked great.
They had perfect teeth, perfect smile, hair, face, like their bone structure was perfect.
Right.
Blah blah blah, all this shit, and like that was so fascinating to me. Those two like stories are so fascinating to me because like I have such like a call to that shit. Like I've always like really liked the outdoors. And like senior year of high school or maybe junior year, I went home one day and was like told my parents that I was gonna take a gap year and go live in the woods in Maine.
Oh god.
Yeah. No.
Like, it was like a spur of the moment.
Yeah. Like the day I watched Into the Wild with Chris McCandless or whatever, read that book for school or whatever.
Okay.
I might have just mixed two books up. Call of the Wild is the book about the dog, and then something Chris McCandless, and then his book is different. But anyways,
I trust you.
John Krakauer, I think.
Like,
we read it in English class.
Yeah, okay.
And this kid like just has this amazing journey and ends up dying in Alaska, like freezing to death because he can't cross a river. Oh, spoiler alert! Sorry for anyone listening who's in like 8th grade and is about to read this book. But anyways, like I just got like such a wanderlust from that, and like I came home one day like half kidding, like I'm going to fucking Maine. I'm going to buy a gun and I'm going to live off the land for an entire year alone. I was fucking crazy, dude. Yeah. I can't spend half a day alone. I get lonely. I love talking to people. I would have lost my mind, but bro, in the moment I was like, okay, this is what I'm going to do. And so like, then my parents are crazy. Like they took my car away for the week. They were pissed. They were like, you're not taking a gap year. You're not doing gap years are for rich kids. Like blah blah. All this other shit.
Wow, that's a crazy line.
Yeah,
gap years are for rich kids.
We'll have to do a whole different thing about that.
Parent episode.
Yeah,
Parents
that'll
weekend.
be crazy. Yeah, we'll do. That's on the list for sure. Yeah, but anyways, like that kind of shit has always fascinated me. So when those two talked about living with people who are like truly, like those people are like, they're perfect. Like the most purest, closest thing to genetic perfection. Because how are they still here? Like everyone else is still here because we've been pampered. They're still here because they've been like fucking and fighting each other, like, and only the very best are like still around.
Yeah.
It's amazing to think about. It's fascinating for me.
Yeah.
Dude,
like how natural selection fits in there. It's at both ends, like in terms of who's reproducing, but also who's surviving infancy.
Yeah.
Like,
yes. The very strongest. Like you have to be like, there's nothing saving you. There's nothing. Like you're gonna fucking get the reco, bro, if you're not strong enough to live through everything that like nature throws at you.
Yeah, even like especially other people. Like being able to survive adulthood, it's almost like there's some natural selection's almost beautiful because it's like there's some jack-offs that won't survive.
Yeah.
Like or I'm sorry, that will survive all the way to adulthood
Mm-hmm.
purely by chance.
Yeah.
But then it's like they might not reproduce because it's just like the alpha in that tribe just breaks their neck, like, because they're like, that person just creeped up on my ninth wife. Like, you know what I mean?
Mm. That is dark
It is
too.
dark. It is
Yeah,
dark. But that's
yeah.
how Mother Nature structures the animal world.
Right.
Um,
No, yeah,
I
for
mean, that's,
sure.
dude, this is the argument for we need a technological, like, evolution to happen. I mean, how would we do that? Neuralink.
All right, guys, that's the end of part 1. Feel free to check out part 2. It's going to drop a couple days after this one. We're going to continue our talk on Neuralink. Hopefully that cliffhanger left you right.